Said it. Welcome back to Kyalami's Motorsport Festival, ladies and gents, and you've come back for some two-wheeled action now from the Bridgestone Thunderbikes and sub-10s.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a long wait, but we are good to go now. Stand by for the start. 5-second board is up. Revs will pick up. Lights are going to go on, and we are racing, baby. Time to go. Here we go. Is it going to be the Lance Isaacs show? Hopefully not. Lance Isaacs did have a great start and a great first race. He got away from everybody to the tune of about 7.5 seconds. But Calvert is there with him this time. The one man who unfortunately couldn't get back, and I had to chat to him in between the races on my way back from the Engine Polo Cup post-race interviews, was Morne Potgieter. Absolutely distraught on blowing that engine.
Oh, yeah, no, so, and he was right up there in the mix for at least the top 3 this weekend. Looks like Calvert's following Lance Isaacs, his man from Cape Town, through. Isaacs made a little bit of a mistake going into turn 1, but kept it all together. And those two are just checking out. Look at that. They are just really just stamping their authority on this race already. Gareth Laverick, a little bit better start there. What a start there from Krobler. And there is Strutty on the naked KTM Super Duke. First of the Agliotti brothers coming through as well. There's Rainer Kruger on the Adrenaline Power Sport Yamaha
also had a good
R6.
one in the first one.
Very good. And I think, remember, just promoted up into the Thunderbikes for the first time on the inside. Here comes Wayne Spicer. Yep, he makes that move stick. There's Harry Timmerman. Not the start that he would have wanted.
Under attack there from Byron Rothkall as they came through there too, Rob.
So not the start that he would have wanted, a little bit further down, but a brilliant introduction to Kyalami it's been for Andre Calvert. I think it's his first ever race here at the new Kyalami.
Listen, I'll tell you something, that Ducati is showing some good prowess around the circuit too, so it bodes well for when the bots get you at some point, and I'm sure that they're going to be on those new machinery that you went and tested a few weeks ago from Ducati. Definitely something to watch out for. A lot of guys will probably be making the step across to the red machinery if those bikes are as good as what the Ride Fast editor has to say about them. Right, the battle I think is going to be for 3rd, 4th and 5th, or possibly 4th and 5th place as we start to heat up. Laverick starting to open up a little margin over the 4th place man there, but keep an eye on that 4th place battle, because I spoke to Damien Purificardi, exactly what we thought. Tyre pressures, they went sky high, had no opportunity and no way of turning the motorcycle, so hopefully he's got them right this time.
He does, because he's coming steaming on the inside there of Pierre Krobler into the final turn. Not the best start in the world there for Damien Purificardi. They come across the line, and it will be Lance Isaacs leading us out. Andre Calvert in second, Gareth Laverick, Damien Purificardi, Pierre Krobler, brilliant start there, as is Reginald Seal. The first of the Agliottis is Keith, Dirk Stolz, Strutty on the KTM, Jordan Agliotti, Wayne Spicer, Harry Potgieter, Byron Rothkall, Harry Timmerman, and Rainer Kruger on that little Yamaha R6, rounding out your top 15.
Better start there from Hashim Amra, and I want to say Hashim Amra, that's not the opening batsman for the Proteas.
No.
It's one of our good friends that's making his way into Thunderbikes for the first time this weekend, and of course in the sub-10 category. And remember what things, just for people that don't know how this all works, these are the 2 of the 3 categories that come out of the Swartkorps racetrack initially. What happened was they eventually found a way to sort them out in terms of timing. And you start off as a motorcycle racer for the first time out in Bridgestone Challenge, which of course happened last weekend at the Extreme Festival on St. Paddy's Day. Then if you go into a sub-10 around Swartkorps, you move up into the sub-10 category here, which is where we see these guys fighting, which is exactly where these guys are competing, just outside the top 10. And you've got an A and a B class there. And then if you go, I think it's the 107s around Swartkorps, you move up into the Thunderbike category. So that's kind of how they sort things out, and why there is a differentiation between sub-10 B and A, and of course Thunderbikes. And if you do have any national championship riders that come and get involved in the Thunderbikes, they normally put them into their separate class X, just for invitational riders, to allow them to have some fun and games with these guys, our usual contenders in Thunderbikes and sub-10s.
Yeah, and one big contender that we are missing this weekend is last year's champion. That is Sean Vermaak, as I think that's Keith Jordan Agliotti with a big dive on the inside there. So brilliant move there from Jordan up the inside, going into Crocodile. It's one of the favourite overtaking maneuvers so far today. Keegan Masters, GTR still stricken on the side there, like a zombie wasteland.
That's Keith. Cars. Yeah, that's Keith. 80's Keith, and 181 is Jordan. Yeah. So Keith going on the RBS Yamaha, getting through there.
Oh, that's Reginald Seal that he's dancing with. Yep.
Nice to see him also involved in the front end battle. Just behind there. Look at Stratty. Stratty's coming. Stratty's coming right on that Katuma. He's not holding back, that's for sure. This is nice to see. As I said, Ducati, not a lot of them out there. There's a few guys that ride in Thunderbikes. Another man missing today, of course, is Cliffy Ogle. He also would have been involved in sub-10. So that was the second Ducati that we're not seeing here this weekend. And you spoke about missing riders. Probably most notably, you mentioned Sean Vermaak. But another man who would be at the front end here, particularly with Lance Isaacs, would be Alan John Fenter. He'd be riding in the Lacquer Racing Yamaha, but unfortunately he's got some duties to do to get everything sorted out for the Isle of Man. He heads that way very soon. So anybody out there that's looking to get some great coverage for your company, We've got one rider from South Africa going there. He is the fastest rider. He's also the youngest rider in the Isle of Man field this year. And certainly, man, you want to put your money behind if you can for this Isle of Man TT coming up at the beginning of June. So as they head into the third lap in anger here, 150 is coming out of Lance, but you can see he's taking it very easy. He can possibly run down in the 48s if he needs to. But this is great to see. Keith Agliotti and Jordan Agliotti, you spoke to them at the Lacquer Racing Golf Day, in fact, and both of them are concerned about coming to Kyalami being down on power. You don't really have to worry about being down on power if you've got a Honda CBR that handles well.
Yep.
We'll know that. I've got one of the Ride Fast boys sitting alongside us here, Marky. When we went down to Daisy's Raceway to do that Superbike test, the Honda's not the most powerful motorcycle in the world, but it certainly handles well.
Yep.
It gives you the confidence to ride it well within your abilities and probably over them a little bit.
Yeah, it translates. Honda's philosophy has always been less is more. So less horsepower, but certainly means more traction and more user-friendly riding ability. And that's certainly what they're getting out of the Honda, because Keith Agliotti is now closing that gap down on Pierre Corbett just ahead of him. So it's a brilliant ride there from him.
No, I saw that as well. I saw a little safety
yeah.
car board flashing there. I'm not quite sure what that was for. Might have been preempting something, but Bridgestone's still in full flight here, the Thunderbikes and sub-10 category. And our top 6 across the line now with Agliotti going through there on the West Side Motorcycles and Ridgeway Race Bar Honda. Further back in this field, nice to see Harry Timmerman, second of the Superbets BMW boys. He's in a little bit of a fight of his own there with Hashim Amra, HP Source, Harry Potgieter there as well, and Byron Rothwell just ahead of them. So kind of what we see in last week, particularly in Brunch Run, or in the challenge, yes. You've got a whole bunch of guys that get together as a group and they start fighting, just like we're seeing right here.
Yeah, they're on similar kind of pace, similar machinery, and that's a nice thing. There's an old school 2009, probably Kawasaki ZX-10 battling with a very modern day 2017 BMW S1000 RR. So it really is a field that you can bring whatever you want. We've got some 600s thrown into the mix. So if you want to come and enjoy some affordable racing, I mean, there's nothing really affordable about racing these days, but the Bridgestone tyres last. They offer a massive amount of grip. Here comes Hashim Amra on the inside there. Oh, that is very tasty, and that is very aggressive going into Sunset.
Yeah, Sunset at nearly Sunset as well, which is the reason why it's called Sunset. But anyway, that was a good move, and it paid off. Hopefully it rattled the rider slightly and get a little bit of a chance to get away. Looking at Struddy is having some fun and games of his own there with Dirk Stoltz and Jordan Agliotti as this battle continues. Amra coming in very hot.
Jeez.
Right on the back of Harry Timmerman. I think if he looks back, he'll be looking and going, wow, that was close. But fortunately, both riders still upright and riding as they get to the top of Leopold. Starting to close in on them, though, and looking at the way things are going, you've got to keep an eye out on Aidan Barnard, too.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely closing in that gap and potentially going to be a second Kawasaki in this little battle.
And he's been very impressive so far this year. Started out in the Bridgestone Challenge, completely dominated at the first round at Swartkorps. Made the step up now into sub-10 category and doing a brilliant job here. We've had a lot of guys step up into the sub-10 category. Reina Kruger, Aidan Barnard, and they really are putting on a brilliant show. Running competitive times, obviously nowhere near this man out front. And let's not forget, Lance Isaacs. I think he's ridden just about every single format, every single two-wheeled motorcycle there is to ride around old and new Kyalami.
I certainly mean around almost every version of the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. Maybe not the first one. I'm not quite sure if he was around at that stage, because I think he only joined Russell's team just after they'd done the changes.
Yeah.
So there's the possibility of what's it, the 7th version of Kyalami now. I think he's ridden 6 of them, so that's not too shabby.
And there's Aidan Barnard on the inside there. I think that's Harry Potgieter maybe that's just falling down the field now. But Lance Isaacs out front, he's thinking, well, everyone's making such a fuss about Rossi being nearly 40 and racing. Well, I'm nearly 40 and I'm still winning races. So Lance Isaacs...
I'm 43 and I'm still winning races too, but that's needless to say. We're not going to go down that road.
So Lance Isaacs right out there. The battle for second place is starting to heat up now. Gareth Laverick has closed in on the Ducati man, Andre Calvert. So the Yamaha rider starting to close that gap. Pierre Ficati in a lonely 4th place, as is Pierre Cobblet in 5th. But that battle for 2nd and 3rd, I think in a couple of laps' time, is certainly going to heat up. Last lap around, it was Gareth Laverick, a 52.9, and the rider ahead of him, Andre Calvert, was only on a 53.6. So almost a second there that he's closed in.
The one I'm worried about, though, is just keep an eye out on the battle for 5th and 6th place. Because Keith Agliotti is closing in there on Pierre Cobblet, so it's going to be pretty close between the two. There it is. Is the battle I'm just talking about. As we look down on the screen now, we can pick up on that battle. And the Westside Motorcycles and Ridgeway Race Bar Honda is definitely closing in on the back end of that Kawasaki as Gavin Cornier starts giving us the eye from the side of the circuit. It's the evil eye as well.
That's a very evil eye.
It was an evil eye there from him.
Check it, Agliotti. Now, that Honda will also be a lot more, how can I say, user-friendly on the Bridgestone tires. It'll use them a lot more forgiving than compared to that Kawasaki ahead of him. Pierre Krobler also not a massive amount of race experience, racing 200 horsepower Kawasaki's around Kyalami. So brilliant ride this from him. And Agliotti, you can see how much later he brakes, almost 50 meters later on the brakes going into turn 1. But you can do that with a slightly less horsepower that we've spoken about on that Honda. And the handling package that they've got, especially on that West Side bike, we know that bike would have been set up perfectly for the Kyalami circuit. And he's now starting to really get good use out of that bike and close the gap.
He's a lot better on the bike than he is on the golf course, that's for sure. Him and his brother, I think, were looking to try and find where they parked that golf cart on Wednesday. Anyway, back to the racing here. Tuesday, Wednesday. Listen, it was a 4-day week, so it could be any day, actually. I can't remember. I don't even know if it's Saturday today. So we are into the second half of this race big time.
Reginald Seal.
Idea from Reggie Seal. He has certainly got better and better, but he is being closed down pretty rapidly there by Spicer.
By the Wayne Spicer, who's doing ZX10 Cup as well.
Yeah, just after this, by the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll have enough fuel in the bike, because I think he actually ran out of fuel between the two races last year. I think I have to get in there for a quick splash and dash there for Spicer's ZX10. As they get to the top, he's not quite as fuel efficient as yours truly and you on a motorcycle when it comes to
done as many
race.
24 hours.
He just goes.
Yeah.
Everything she's got. Behind them, though, is, of course, Dirk Stoltz. He's all on his own sim. And then Straddy coming up the hill. Jordan Agliotti just behind him, starting to close down on the Katum.
There's the KTM.
It's a battle for the single digits. And that Katum, look at that. Lovely, eh?
Beautiful.
Real awesome little, probably a comfortable bike to ride for endurance racing. But here at Kyalami, I was saying to Rob earlier on, probably maybe battling a little bit there with the areas that you need a fairing to get behind.
The aerodynamics down the straight, you'll definitely lose out, but he certainly makes up under braking and in the corners. Speaking of making up, check out
that was
this
good,
now. Keith Agliotti is the man on the mission at the moment. He can smell that fourth place and he wants to pick it up. That'll be one of his best finishes.
Yeah.
Top 4, that'll be an excellent ride. Especially, as you said, coming to Kyalami, a track where they really thought they were going to be hampered.
And remember, he's a Class C rider, so this could potentially bump him up into Class Bs. Remember, with all these categories we've spoken about, and I talk about challenge into sub 10B to sub 10A, Thunderbike C, Thunderbikes B, Thunderbikes A, it's all based on time. And the cool thing is that you don't lose your championship points. So if you do have to move up one category, whether it's within Thunderbikes or from sub 10s into Thunderbikes, you carry all the championship points that you've already attained in the championship. So it doesn't make you move anywhere. There is possibilities, though, if you've scored high points through the championship, that you actually move up into that championship in a very good spot overall.
Yeah, Lance Isaacs dominated round number 1. Looks like he's going to do the same here at Kyalami. Exactly what we expected from the Superbets BMW man. He really does know his way around here. Comfortable on that machine. I actually tested that bike of Lance's last year here at Kyalami. And Dean Ferreira, the mechanic there, has done an excellent job at setting that bike up perfectly for the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. And especially that BMW, I think, would be very well suited to the slightly harder carcass of the Bridgestone tyre. I know the BMW doesn't like soft tyres. It burns tyres very quickly. Krobler has a look over his shoulder. He can hear, smell, see, feel everything. That Honda of Keith Agliotti. That is Landy Sinden on the beautiful Milwaukee Yamaha R6. It's a beautifully prepared
Got to give a shout out to her as well, because remember, she only had race 1 and qualifying to sort this motorcycle out for the race. She spent the entire day on Friday, unfortunately, on promotional duties for the Milwaukee racing team, doing a promotion just around the corner. Unfortunately, couldn't get you for the practice session. So she literally climbed on the motorcycle this morning, went out after doing some testing last weekend at Pakisa Freeway, and looking for an opportunity. Looks like we may have lost the 9.9.
Yep.
I think Andre Calvert might have gone missing. I don't know if our guys can pick up and see if there's a 99 Ducati parked on the sideline somewhere, but according to our timing monitor, with 3 or 2.5 laps to go, Lance Isaac now leads out ahead of Gareth Laverick. So it's a bit difficult to pick up when there's such big gaps, and seeing that the riders are maintaining those gaps. Oh, look at that, Agliotti. All the trees out front now. He's got ahead of Pierre Krobler, so a great move there from Keith Agliotti. Very good possibility of him moving into a podium position.
Yeah, he could. If anything happens with our leading 3 riders, we could see that Honda on the podium. Here we go. Keith Agliotti into a personal best 4th place there on that West Side Ridgeway Race Bar Honda. So that is an incredible ride there from him. Pierre Krobler, I don't think will have any answer. Looks like he's maybe just suffering maybe a little bit of fatigue. Remember, these guys have been sitting around all day. It's not easy wrestling a 200 horsepower superbike around the Kyalami circuit. And if they're not careful, Reginald Seal's not too far behind.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's 3 laps remaining. could very easily close down on this battle.
Bridgestone on the obvious Yamaha starting to close down on Krobler and Agliotti. So good chance of a three-way battle here for the 4th place overall. Looking at the way things stand in with that, of course, you've got Keith Agliotti in Thunderbike C. Pierre Krobler is also Thunderbike C. And I'm just going to see Reggie Seal is sub-10 Class B and a Master.
Oh, it just shows you, and all the way through the field here, at the top end of the guys are really just putting out brilliant lap times. And this is a brilliant performance by these 3 guys. Really have to take your hat off to him. Krobler, I said he was out of it, but it doesn't look like he's closing in there, getting down into the minefield. You can see the speed difference there from the Honda to the Kawasaki. Lance Isaacs, he's already going into turn 1. Flicking something off there.
No, I think he's just having some fun and games.
A little bit of leg cramp.
What's up? How are you doing there, Marshals? I'm all good. I thought he might stay with Lundy and give it a little bit of fun and games there. Lundy just trying to learn a little bit from Lance Isaacs. That's, of course, another one of our guys doing dual duties here today. Hank Scaling on his ZX10 as Isaacs closes in on him. So we've got 2 to go here. A lap and a half as they go through Clubhouse Corner. So awesome stuff there. Lundy Sinnen just behind Lance Isaacs. As I said, would be quite nice if Lance just hung around a little bit, maybe just showed her a few lines. Could certainly help her riding style come in. She's got so much quicker and so much better over the last couple of seasons. And having stepped up into sub-10, she said to us earlier on, it's a big step up. It's not an easy thing. A lot of guys realize that, you're making up 2 or 3 seconds here or there. You stay within the same pack. As soon as you go into that sub-10 category, all of a sudden you're in the mix of guys who are doing 6s, 7s, and even 102s and 3s around Swartkrop. So
on big 1000cc machines as well. She's going up there with the Yamaha R6, beautifully prepped bike. But it's a big challenge for her, but she's taken it on. She hasn't been afraid. She has made the step up. So like you said, kudos to her and the whole team, and hats off and to come racing against these guys. Here we go, a little bit further down the field. Can't quite see who that is. There's so many green Kawasaki's out there. I think that is Harry Potgieter maybe trying to make a move there. Or Dirk Stolz as well. Wayne Spicer up there, and look at that Strutty on the KTM up into 9th position, a top 10 yet again, although he's being chased down now by Byron Rothbard.
Ian Thomas and Reno Kruger going through Crowthorne there. This is the 5-3 bike, so that of course is Dirk Stoltz.
Yep.
So Dirk Stoltz and Lance Isaacs coming to the line.
Wheelie control deactivated.
Yeah. Well, he started his last lap. He was wheeling. He thought that was the last lap.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think Lance Isaacs realized he's still got another lap to go there, guys. Hopefully he hasn't slowed down though.
No, I don't think. I think he's just realized.
Maybe he's just having some
fun.
fun.
He didn't see the checkered flag, that might have been the hint.
Here we go. Here's last lap.
No, that's Gareth Laverick.
Laverick and Purificardi.
And Purificardi. Certainly a lot better showing this from Purificardi. Is that? No, it's not. That's Gareth Laverick and Landy Sinden. So Laverick in a comfortable 2nd place there. Purificardi will be up behind Landy Sinden, the Milwaukee Yamaha racing lady. And then just behind them, next across the line, will be Keith Agliotti in that top 4. Brilliant. They'll be going for a nice, beautiful steak or chicken schnitzel at Rico Race Bar after this. That's for sure.
It's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
If you go and spend 350 Rand, you can get an entry for that Honda CBR. I reckon that's a good idea. Right, so
join us there.
Come and join us there after the race.
And they have milkshakes.
And they've got really cool milkshakes there. And there's also lots of sport on there tonight as well. And of course, you'll pick up on the World Superbikes and Formula One late tomorrow. They're not opening early, unfortunately. They're going to pre-record, so you can watch that tomorrow morning at Ridge Race Bar. Now to the top of the hill, Lance Isaacs. Is there going to be some showboating? Oh, 1 foot out there from Isaacs.
You can't get a BMW sideways.
Look at that. He's like looking over his shoulder. He's taking his time. Isaac's in a class of his own here, unfortunately, today. But I think when Sean Vermaak and Alan John Fenter come back into the mix, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Potentially, at the next round, we're going to have to fight hard for honours in Thunderbikes. He hasn't had to do any of that today. He's had it all his own way. The Super Pets BMW has not put a wheel wrong. And he's now going to go and take a double victory here. And just, I think, just squeeze out for Mark into the championship lead. There was a possibility that Sean Vermaak would lose the lead of the championship if Lance won both races today. Is exactly what he's done. So Sean Vermaak now will be moving slightly down in this championship, hoping to make a welcome return very soon. This time he's up on the back wheel, and this time the flag is out.
Slingshot engaged.
Oh, I like it.
Beautiful stand-up wheelie there from Lance Isaacs. He's been doing that for, I don't even know how long now.
I can't do that. I'd like to know how to do it. I can wheel a bicycle as far as you want me to, but a motorcycle, I just don't have what it takes to just roll that thing.
Just to do it, just to commit. Yeah,
all right, we're not done yet, though. Pierre Krobler still under attack on the back end of that Westside Motorcycles machine. And as they come through into Cheetah, Krobler still wants a chance here at Keith Agliotti.
Could be a drag to the line with that Kawasaki.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be tight, that's for sure. They're going to have a go. I'm sure that Krobler won't give it up that easily.
Oh, he's going nice and wide there is Krobler. This is going to be a drag to the line for sure. No, it's not close enough.
Light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up. No, we're going to get Agliotti across the line for 4th place. Well done. That's his best finish, no doubt about it. 4th place overall for Keith Agliotti. Pierre Grobler in 5th. Reggie Seal in 6th place as he crosses the line as well. Isaac's down the back straight on the back wheel, stand-up wheelie as well. Laverick's not going to do the same thing. He knows that 2nd place is pretty good to bring him back into the hunt for the front end of Thunderbikes. Here comes Struddy on the Katum. I wonder if he's going to put on the back. No, it's too much torque.
No, it's too much power.
If he pulls that throttle and tries to wheel it, it'll just loop it.
No, you'll flip.
He'll loop it. It's too much power in that Katum. Well done, though. Awesome ride. He finished in 9th place, so one better than last time. Byron Rothcall in 10th. Jordan Agliotti, unfortunately, just bumped up to the 11th spot out of the top 10. Aidan Barnard behind him. Hashim Amra is going to come through and finish up just ahead there of Harry T and Harry P. HP Source in 15th. Ian Thomas, Rainer Kruger, Chris Kruger, Henk Scaling, and Lundy Sinden on the Milwaukee Racing Yamaha. Your top 20 here in Bridgestone Thunderbikes and sub-10s. We're going straight into highlights. Stand by. Say straight, it was very straight.
Yeah, delayed straight.
There it is. It's slightly delayed straight, but we're into the highlights now. Lance Isaacs and Andre Calvert getting away from the rest of the field. Pierre Grobler initially up in 3rd place, unfortunately losing out by the time they got to Leocorp to Gareth Laverick. Mid-pack battles continued to rage. Hashim Amra fighting out in the mid-pack. Initially, Calvert was looking good on the Ducati. Unfortunately, we lost him with about 5 laps completed. He pulled to the sideline somewhere and was out of contention, leaving Lance Isaacs to open up eventually a massive 14-second lead over 2nd place. This was a good battle, though. Pierre Grobler versus Agliotti. Oh, hard charge there from Amra. Eh? That was like going for the reverse sweep from Amra, the reverse sweep through the sweep there.
And then a big mistake going into the S's there. Did very well to hold on to that. But Agliotti, he was the man on the mission. He could see that 4th place best ever finish in this category. And he closed down on Pierre Grobler, got that Honda CBR 1000 just ahead of him and was able to hold him off coming to the line. It was almost literally a drag race. But it was a brilliant ride. Lance Isaacs just saying hello to some fans going in turn 1 there. A premature stand-up wheelie.
We had a last lap wheelie.
Yeah. Premature stand-up wheelie. Lance is very well known for being premature.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good at premature stuff. Eh? The Superbets BMW boys are pretty good at premature. Eh?
And then he eventually got it right. There we go.
And that was quite a big stand-up one.
That was a nice one.
Long stand-up wheelie there from Lance Isaacs.
At least something standing up.
Yeah, well done to Lance Isaacs Superbets team. And congratulations to his teammate, Harry Timmerman, down in 14th place there.
Well, very well set up team there. And
good.
A good introduction into what is going to be race 2 of the ZX10 Red Square Masters Cup.
Yeah, they're up next. So in a few minutes' time, we'll be back with commentary. Don't forget, though, we've got lots of action still coming away with the ZX10 and the 2 supercar categories still to be done here at the Kyalami Motorsport Festival. And we hope you guys are enjoying all the coverage here on iLEB, courtesy of Team EFX.